Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the NECA Friday 13th Jason Voorhees as seen in Friday 13th Part 3D. We're looking today at the battle-damaged Jason Voorhees. Now, you could have easily said this Jason should have been just a head swap accessory to that of the original Jason that was released in this line. Personally, and I'll probably discuss this more when I get the package open up, personally, I love the fact that we actually get an alternate figure, where it's not just simply a swap of the head in the same package, but we're actually getting it as a standalone figure. Now, that might be only my opinion, but that's basically what I think. As indicated there, it's battle damaged. Down below there is a poster, A New Dimension in Terror, Friday 13th Part 3, or Part 3D, depending on what posters you saw it as. You can't see it necessarily, but there's a picture of Jason Voorhees' mask in the background there. You'll probably see it right there. This is, I guess, NECA's new acquisition of the license once again to the Friday 13th franchise. They had obviously released Friday 13th figures before through the Cult Classics. There was the Pamela Voorhees 2-pack. Certainly there was a Sack Jason that was released independently as a Cult Classics release. And I guess as well there was the Freddy vs. Jason 2-pack also. I am extremely excited. Can you tell? Can you tell? I'm extremely excited though, the fact that they're now releasing the new figures here. And I really hope they continue to release these. Down on the back here, we have a advertisement coming soon. Friday 13th, the final chapter. And then on the back there, it says, an idyllic summer turns into a nightmare of unspeakable terror for yet another group of naive counselors. Ignoring Camp Crystal Lake's bloody legacy, one by one they fall victim to the maniacal Jason who stalks them at every turn. Now again, the read-up on the back is a little questionable, as I don't recall I know Part 1 and obviously Part 2 they were counselors. Part 3, I believe they were just friends visiting one of the friends' I want to say cousin. It's been a while since Spots watched Part 3. Definitely, I think having reviewed these figures, I'm definitely going to go back and I'm going to watch this movie again. I mean, this is, again, one of my favorite Jason Friday 13th movies. It is so campy. I love it. That's good. That's real nice. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to take a bit of a break. I'm going to get the Battle Damaged Jason out of package. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at the figure. There's lots more to come, my friends. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Now, at first glance, you'll obviously be seeing that Jason is a little bit different in the fact that he's got all this blood all over his shirt. There's a little more blood in his knees there. Now, you would assume, though, that it's probably just the same figure and they just slapped some blood on him. Not quite true. Not quite true at all, actually. I think, for starters, I'll just bring in the original Jason. Yes, you can see it's the exact same body. Nothing's actually different. In fact, the blood smear, I think, is even the same on the knee. But it is the same figure. However, the biggest difference is the actual mask. For starters, it might just be me, but it almost looks like this mask has the eyes correctly lined up. It may very well be me, and I might just be seeing things, but it does look like the lining up of the eyes, the eye holes on the mask, look a little more correct on this Jason than that of the original. Obviously, the biggest difference too is that the top of the mask on the damaged version of Jason actually has the crack caused from the axe. You can see that there is that crack in the mask, whereas the original Jason did not have it. Differences actually don't just end there, my friends. No, certainly they don't, because there's also a gash in the top of Jason's face, or of his head, where that axe has gone in. You can see that there's blood underneath the mask. When we take the mask off, ever so gingerly, you can see, oh, there's a little bit of fur there. Let me just get that off. I apologize. you can see underneath that he has a really deep gash in his forehead. And actually, his facial expression is a little bit different as well. I'm just going to reach off camera here. Pardon my, there we go. You can actually see the difference between the two figures. So again, it's not just that they took the same face as this one and then just had put the gash in it. It is actually the completely different figure. Different facial expression and everything else. Perhaps from the nose up, it's the same figure, and they've just retooled a new mouth. But you can see that there is a difference between the two. Which actually leads me to think, well, leads me to what my opinion is here. My biggest gripe with the Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy's, and it was such a ridiculous gripe, was the fact that we got such great accessories with each Freddy, with alternate hands, alternate heads, that had they just released these figures, the Freddys, as separate figures, I would have totally bought them. Because the biggest problem is when you have alternate accessories and alternate hands and limbs, and they look so good either way, you want to have the figure displayed in both examples, leading you to probably buy two of the same figure, which is actually why I'm really glad that NECA gave us the damaged version of Jason as a standalone figure. As a collector, you could easily go with either Jason and be completely happy with it. Some people would maybe prefer the gashed mask and the gash in the forehead, or in the actual head. Some people might prefer just the original Jason, but I'm happy that I have both. I love the fact that there is two versions of him, and you can have him just standing on the shelf, damaged, non-damaged. I really, really like that. Even if it is the same body, that suits me fine. That suits me just fine. That's good. That's real nice. Moving that Jason out of the way, obviously I've already done the review of him, so we're not going to focus too much attention on him. Again, the body on this damaged Jason is the exact same. We have the over-the-top shoulder pads in the Jason suit, which I always loved. I thought that was neat. The open sleeves, open cuffs on the sleeves. This one is, he's got a closed fist on one side, open fist on the other. He has no alternate hands or anything like that, which is not a big deal. It's not really a big deal to me. Now his accessories, he doesn't have quite the same accessories as the other Jason. He does have the same machete. The only difference is this machete has a bit of blood on it, whereas the other machete did not. Whoops! And his spot just dropped on the floor. He does, however, come with the axe, which I think is a very crucial piece if you're going to have Jason here, the damaged version of Jason. I obviously know your question would then be, well, Spot, does the axe actually go into his head? Here's the thing I found. There's the gash right there. You have to line the mask just upright, just perfectly. I find, there's the gash right there. I find I can't actually get the axe to wedge into his forehead. I tried a couple of times before I did this review, before I started shooting the review. It's like it wants to sit in there, but it doesn't stay. And maybe I just have the wrong angle in place. Maybe if you have this figure and you were successful with it, that's good for you. It's a gold star for you. But I can't seem to get it actually wedged into that gash. That's a bit of a shame. I still like the fact that I still really like the detail work on the actual axe, though. I think that's nice. Maybe what I can actually do is take the mask off and see if we can get the gash into his head that way. Get it actually into his... See, it doesn't actually stay. It just... I think the problem is the gash isn't deep enough either that you can wedge the axe into that groove. See, it's like it wants to stay in there. Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe. Okay. Look at Spot. Spot's a total liar. There you go. You just kind of have to... Here I was trying to put the whole blade into it. You're just going to hook the corner of the axe in. There you go. That's what you want. Even though technically he had the mask on, but... there you go. So I guess I was wrong. I was wrong. I thought you couldn't get the axe in. Turns out you can. Just a little bit of finesse. Just a little bit of finesse. And I just dropped the axe. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Jason has the same articulation as obviously the other Jason. But his articulation is he has a ball jointed head, pin and socket shoulders. They rotate all the way around. He has a pin and socket elbow, which you can bend at the elbow. Rotate back and forth. He has a ball-jointed hand. Ball-jointed hand. The upper torso looks to be on a ball joint. It can rotate at the waist though. And as mentioned with the other Jason too, this is a rubber, which I like too. His legs, you could technically have Jason sitting in a Jeep or a car if you wanted to, because his legs do go forward and back. They do bend out. They almost feel like they're going to be loose, and that's actually something that I'm kind of worried about with this Jason. It may not pose a problem for me, but the hard part too is not seeing that joint. It's a good thing, obviously, because it doesn't ruin the sculpt, but you're also not quite sure if this joint is just extremely loose inside, because it does feel like the leg's going to get a little loose, as you can see right there. The knees do bend, also rotate back and forth, and he has a ball jointed foot as well. There you go. I think once again, Jason from Friday 13 Part 3 is just a fantastic figure. NECA did a phenomenal job on this line so far. I mean, pick your poison. You can go with either or, but I think as a diehard Jason fan, I would say pick up both. Definitely pick up both, and I can't wait for NECA to release more of these from the future Jason movies. Here's hoping for a Part 5 Roy. Battle damaged Jason. I think I'm going to give him a 10 as well. I'm going to give him a 10. I mean, it's just a matter of which one you prefer. If you ask my humbled opinion, though, I definitely would say pick up both. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the NECA Friday 13th figures. We're looking today at Jason Voorhees as seen in Friday 13th Part 3D. You can let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see you next time.